senior colleague of Odisha, and when I was a third year student at SSKM Hospital, Kolkata, he was the senior house surgeon at that time at PG Hospital, nobody else than Professor Prasanna Kumar Mohanty. And he is my very first guide to Odisha. All senior colleagues of Odisha, all Acoinians coming from different parts of India, as well as my beloved postgraduate students, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice occasion to welcome all of you at the 4th annual meeting of Acoin Odisha State Chapter. You all are aware of the fact that Acoin, Association of Community Ophthalmologists of India, the term Acoin, Ek Paisa Ka organization, this is a very small organization with limited membership as well as no extra fund. We are for the community. In the year 2000, only 9 ex-students of the International Center for Eye Health London assembled in Calcutta just to organize a small group known as Indian Alumni Group of the International Center for Eye Health to disperse what they have learned from London to the people of India about community eye health. That group of 9 now turned into a brigade of 1,400. Our goal is very simple: advocacy in community eye health in Indian subcontinent. Everywhere, the term advocacy, what do you mean by advocacy? Many people ask me all the time, do you operate? Do you examine eye? Do you treat the patients? Or you are all satisfied with just examining and giving some sort of opinion? So what is advocacy? So the particular term advocacy is very difficult to explain, but the village Ostapur, Basanta Kumari Eye Hospital, what I am also from a village, we are also dreaming to have this sort of small hospitals. My mission that if we Acoinians like to implement our ideas and aims all over the country, we like to have got some more power, and that more power is nothing but to be included in All India Ophthalmological Society. This time I am competing for the post of Vice President of All India Ophthalmological Society. So if you do think that I am appropriate for that post, if you think that appropriate Acoin movement is necessary for Indian subcontinent for prevention of blindness, please do support me. Thank you very much. Jai Jagannath. Now, our organizing secretary, Dr. Saroj Tripathi, will felicitate the dignitaries on the dais. এই এত ছোট করে গেলে হবে হলো the national Acoin president elect so Dr. Lakesh Madaria has come from Chhattisgarh to grace this occasion, and along with Mrs. Madaria, sir, please do come.
Thank you, Professor Samanta, sir. the chief guest of today's program, the guest of honor of today's program, distinguished guest, the guest sitting on the dais, Professor Tripathi sir, Professor Subudhi sir, Professor our Vice President S.C. Prasad sir, Das sir, Dr. Mahapatra sir, and invited guests from my different states of Odisha, West Bengal, all over India, our President-elect of Chhattisgarh State Ophthalmological Society, Dr. Basant Verma sir, and all the students and dear friends. First of all, I thanks Odisha Acoin Society for organizing this beautiful Acoin Chapter Conference. As we all know, these rural areas are always the underserved areas, as everybody appreciated. But the 80% of our facilities, they are in the urban areas. And only the 20% facilities, they are in the rural area. And the requirement is just reverse. The 80% requirement is in the rural area. So, the aim of our society is to reach into the unreached area, as Professor Subudhi sir has nicely told. And even at this age of the 21st century, when we are going in Chand and other planet, a 40 years young person coming to us, he is not able to see with the both eyes. When we see there was a vitreous hemorrhage, you all know, blood in the eye. So when we ask him, are you having BP or sugar? He say, yes sir, I am having sugar first. So how long you are having sugar? I am having sugar for last 10 years. And he is not aware that because of the sugar, he can become the blind. So such type of this illiteracy is there in all over in India. And in the underserved state like Odisha, Chhattisgarh, here also we are getting the lot of blindness only because of the illiteracy and ignorance. So our aim is to reach to this unreached area. Once again, I say lot of thanks to Saroj Tripathi sir, who is the dynamic organizing secretary of this today's program, and because of his sincere effort and Professor Tripathi sir, I still remember when Professor Tripathi sir organized AIOS in 2005. I was the witness. I came to Bhubaneswar that time, and because of his blessings, this Odisha Acoin and his young generation Saroj is also coming in the same line. So with lot of thanks to this whole society and this Tripathi Parivar, I will once again say thank you very much, and I invite all of you in our Acoin National Conference at Pahalgaon. I will request to make a Acoin conference as well as the family conference to enjoy in the Kashmir, Pahalgaon, we are having in the September. With these words, again, thanks to all the LOC. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lakesh Madaria sir. I welcome Dr. Manoj Mathur sir, our Acoinian from Hyderabad, who has just arrived from Telangana. He will give guest lecture, as well as our good friend Acoinian, Dr. Purendra Bhasin, who has just arrived from Gwalior. Keep in knowledge to the Honorable MLA and all of you that what Dr. Subudhi, our chairman steering committee, is doing all around Indian subcontinent as a part of Acoin. Professor Subudhi being retiring from MKCG Medical College of HOD, he is now the leader of Teleophthalmological Society of India. Being at home, you can have your guidance for your eye problem. He is guiding all over India. As one of the pioneers to lead AIOS in prevention of diabetic retinopathy, he is making a lot all over Indian subcontinent to make the people aware of diabetic retinopathy. And he was the pioneer to go on with door-to-door survey, school eye checkup program, not in cities, not in these rural areas, but even in Malkangiri area, about 15 years back, we had been to there. So we have this beautiful team in Odisha. It's only the political will to deploy all of us. Now I like to have lines from Dr. Sharat Chandra Das, our Vice President of National Acoin Committee, to give a few words.
Chief guest of the occasion, Honorable Shashi Bhushan Behera, the MLA Kendrapada. Our guest of honor, Sri Sanjeev Chadhaji, our National President-elect, L.C. Madharia, sir, and all the dignitaries on the dais and of the dais. We have organized this Acoin conference for Odisha chapter by our organizing secretary, Dr. Suraj Tripathi. Community ophthalmology, I will say a few words. The community service is a very vast area, and that too, community ophthalmology is a part of that. You have for community service or community ophthalmology, you have a mindset, otherwise you will not successful. You may work anywhere, in tertiary hospital or anywhere, but you have a mindset that you do for the poor and community service for the year. And you have a source of inspiration. What have you got? I have an inspiration from Bharat Sevak Samaj. When there is a severe drought in 69, so the Bharat Sevak Samaj approached some volunteers to severe drought affected area of Kalahandi. So I was just house surgeon, and that period is my SPM term. So I volunteer myself to go to Kalahandi and serving for the society. That is the inspiration from Bharat Sevak Samaj. Subsequently, you have arranged such a way that you reach the poor, reach the society. Otherwise, sitting in a hospital, nobody will come to you and you cannot serve the people. When I was president of Rotary Club of Kata Millennium in 211 and 12, our chief guest was the chief guest of our meeting, and I have 10 years again we are meeting, and because the Rotary Club is coming to the poor, we have a set of organization that we have all the, in our club we have all the specialist in our club, medicine, gynecology, eye, ENT, skin VD, and absolutely one dental. So whenever we go to the society and going on camps, so you have to do nothing. You go to the area and do the service for the poor. And also we are getting medicine because one person was C&F agent from Odisha. So we have nothing difficulty in serving the poor. So I request all the young people and the PG students that should have a mindset of that you will do for the poor and do for the society. So this is the, I think you will take a matter to serve the people, and I welcome all as President of Acoin Odisha chapter and the National Vice President. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Now I request Professor Dr. Bimalkant Tripathi. Is my father. I request him to say a few words.
Honorable MLA Sahib, respected Chadha Sahib, all the honorable guest speakers, my friends and colleagues. In one line I want to finish it. We are carrying out divine order. We are carrying out divine order and waiting for the next order to come. Thank you all. You are all welcome to this Tulasi Khetra. Kendrapada is known as the Tulasi Khetra. Jai Baldev.
May I now request the postgraduate trainees to come over here and to accept the felicitation from the guest in chief, and also clad with the yellow robe, and please come here very quickly. Dr. Ashmita Pradhan of Bhimsar Burla. Chief guest. Ashmita Pradhan is here. Please do come. Please do come. Hey, क्या हेल्प करो, क्या हेल्प करो तुम्हारे, लेकिन दो मृत्युंजय हेल्प करो. Each one of the postgraduates is given a medal with certificates. Please do come. And all postgraduates, after taking this medallion, please stand on one side. Don't go to your seat. We like to take a group photograph. Please stand on with this medal. Yeah. Dr. Arati Biswai, Dr. Arati Biswai, then Dr. Ayantika Das. Arati Biswai, please come. Arati Biswai from Bhimsar Burla. Dr. Ayantika Das, JPM Rotary Eye Hospital, Cuttack. Dr. Sonali Margaret Soy from MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Sonali Margaret Soy. Dr. Ankita Kumari from MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Priyanka Jana from MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Priyanka Jana. You are Dr. Priyanka Jana? Dr. Priyanka Jana. Dr. Priyanka Jana. Dr. Lokhipriya Samantarai from MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. You all stand here with the medal. Dr. Pratibha Behra from MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Soumashri Mohapatra, MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Taposi Mohanty, MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Saubhagya Ranjan Ponda, MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Vikas Ranjan Nayak, MKCG Medical College, Barhampur. Dr. Anjalika Padhi, JPM Rotary Eye Hospital, Cuttack. Dr. Rupa Gupta, SCB Medical College Hospital, Cuttack. Dr. Pallavi Sri, JPM Rotary Eye Hospital, Cuttack. Dr. Pallavi Sri from Rotary Eye Hospital, Cuttack. Dr. Pragya Parimita Meher, Bhimsar Burla, VSS Medical College, Burla. नहीं है. Dr. Sushmita Sahu, SCB Medical College, Cuttack. Jami Jala Neha Srija, Jami Jala Neja Sriya, IMS and Sam Hospital, Bhubaneswar. Dr. Soumya Ranjan Panda, VSS Medical College, Burla. Dr. Vishwanath Sahu, VSS Medical College, Burla. Okay, finish. All to come here and stand. All awardees, please come here. Please stand in row.
One more name, Alpana Mishra, will come and stand only.
Okay. Please stand in a row and take a group photograph.
Sir, Alpana Mishra.
Alpana Mishra, he's here.
Alpana Mishra.
Alpana Mishra, please do come here. Alpana Mishra. So, man, you all with your medal and others, you please stand. So, Alpana Mishra. Alpana Mishra. স্যার আপনার সামনে যাবে। इसके बाद एक सोमेन अवार्ड रेडी करो सोमेन 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 सब अवार्ड रेडी करो सोमेन अवार्ड रेडी अवार्ड रेडी अवार्ड रेडी
I would now request our guest of honor, Dr. Sanjeev Chadha sir, who is an IFS Indian Forest Service Officer 1989 batch, has assumed charge of Office of the Special Secretary Department of Agriculture, Secretary Cooperation Department, Member Secretary OSAM Board, Director Agriculture Marketing. Besides, he is the author of so many books. Jumbo at the Age is the latest one. He is a Rotarian, past President of Rotary Club of Bhubaneswar Heritage also, Assistant Governor of Rotary District 3262. Please welcome our guest of honor.
Thank you, Saroj. Good morning, esteemed chief guest and Dr. Tripathi, Professor Subudhi, and President-elect of Acoin, and all the esteemed participants in this workshop. Let me first thank the organizers for inviting me to this meeting. We are not medical professionals, but still I couldn't resist the temptation because Kendrapada was my first district when I was posted in Odisha. So in way back in 1993, when the district was created, so I was posted here. Lots of changes you can see in last 29 years in Kendrapada. Now coming to the subject of this meeting, you know, as past speakers have also said that prevention is better than cure. Odisha being predominantly rural and agrarian state, so we have a large number of population living in rural areas, and eye care is something which is not given its due importance even in urban areas, not to talk of the rural areas. And often people ignore the symptoms when they get, and if it is not screened properly, then it leads to avoidable blindness, which the large number of population in rural areas is suffering. So my association for last 20-25 years with Rotary, we have been very actively pursuing organizing screening camps, organizing cataract operations, free surgeries for the poor people, and Saroj has been very actively involved with that. So I can just say that the noble cause which Professor Tripathi said, all of you are working on. So your job is cut out straight away in Odisha, because we are a very predominantly agrarian state, and lot of work is to be done in the rural areas because large number of population is unreached. As President-elect said, there is so much of difference in the need for the infrastructure and availability. In urban areas, lot of infrastructure is available, and it's much of it is being underutilized. In rural areas where need is more, we are yet to take the eye treatment to rural hospitals. So it's a challenge for all of us. So it's let me first congratulate all of you that you have joined this. During my stint in Health Ministry in Government of India, I never heard of this organization, though I was dealing with medical association and all. It's good, and my best wishes to all of you, and wherever in policy making we can help you, please feel free to contact us in the government. And our Honorable MLA is a former finance minister of the state and is a very popular leader who has contributed to the development of the state, and especially in the healthcare also. He will wait to listen to his thoughts also on this subject. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind talk. Now we are going to start felicitating of all our beautiful and learned speakers from different states. May I call upon Dr. Madan Mohan Patra to come over the dais, and Madam Bharma to come, Madam Madharia to come over the dais. First of all, we like to welcome and felicitate our President-elect, Dr. Lakesh Madharia, along with Madam Madharia, with Dr. Madan Mohan Patra Endowment, Acoin, Odisha State Chapter Honor 2022. Mahapatra, yes. I would like to request our Professor Subudhi and Dr. Sharad Das, other to join with the chief guest to honor them. Madam Asuntu. Apone madam
इसको हटा दीजिए नहीं आइए इसको पूरा हटा देंगे
Madan Mohan. Madam. अच्छा करके फोटो लो भाई.
इसको दादा हटा दो এটা হটে নিল
उसका हाथ में दो. मदन मोहन उनको हाथ में दो, हाथ में दे करके फोटो लो. Thank you. May I call upon Dr. Tarun Kumar Ponda, the sponsor of the next oration. Dr. Professor Sanjay Kumar Daulat Thakur, please do come over the dais. Now we like to felicitate Professor Sanjay Kumar Daulat Thakur with Srimati Susama Kumari Panda Memorial Acoin Odisha State Chapter Oration 2022, which has been sponsored by Dr. Tarun Kumar Ponda, the Associate Professor and HOD of Bolangir Medical College and is Acoinian of Odisha, given to Professor Sanjay Kumar Daulat Thakur. ये दो उत्तरीय दो ये दो अरे একজন উপরে উঠেছো. Professor Sanjay Kumar Daulat Thakur is from West Bengal, and he is the professor and head of the department of ophthalmology of Midnapur Medical. अरे उत्तरीय दो এই তোমাদের একজন উঠেছো, একজন একটু থাকো. Professor, I would like to call upon Dr. Mona Lisa Pramanik to come over the dais. Dr. Mona Lisa Pramanik is from Kolkata. Dr. Mona Lisa, please do come over here. Put on your gown. You are an Acoin. Hey, Mona Lisa Pramanik gown ta na dao to. Put on your gown. And then you can take it off. Dr. Mona Lisa Pramanik Nondi is now attached with of Sarup Eye Center, Hyderabad. We are very happy to have Dr. Manoj Mathur sir here. Now young ophthalmologist from West Bengal, Dr. Indranil Dev. Please do. Actually, Dr. Surjanarayan Acharya was the maternal grandfather of Dr. Indranil Dev. Now Professor Dhirendranaran Acharya Memorial Acoin Odisha State Chapter Oration is being given to Dr. Indranil Dev. It is also being sponsored by Madam Professor Indranil Dev family. Professor Dhirendranaran Acharya was also the ophthalmologist and the maternal uncle of Professor Indranil Dev. Dr. Indranil Dev is a young eye surgeon attached to Rotary Eye Hospital, Midnapur. He has his training from Arvind Eye Hospital and is a great community eye health worker. Next, I like to call upon Dr. Purendra Bhasin, and at the same time, I would like to call upon Professor H.K. Rajguru sir. Dhire dhire, so don't make it so quick. They are coming from so much, so don't make it so quick. Dhire, and you please open it. Don't make it pura kholi dio. हाँ, तो सारो सारो करिबे नहीं. Dr. Purendra Bhasin is being given Professor Chandidas Glorification Acoin Odisha State Chapter Oration Award 2022 by his very beloved student Professor H.K. Rajguru. Professor H.K. Rajguru was the head of the Department of Ophthalmology, SCB Medical College, Kotak, and Professor Chandidas was also the head of the Department of Ophthalmology of SCB Medical College and the respected teacher of Professor Rajguru. Professor Chandidas was one of the founder member of Eastern India Zonal Ophthalmic Society. Dr. Purendra Bhasin is the founder director of Ratanjyoti Netralaya, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. We are happy to have Dr. Purendra Bhasin here in this particular meeting, long way from Gwalior. We like to call upon Dr. Hoimunti Chaudhuri, the young dynamic ophthalmologist from Silchar, Assam. Dr. Hoimunti Chaudhuri is being honored with Professor D. Anandarao Dora Endowment Acoin Odisha State Chapter Oration 2022. This particular award is being sponsored by Professor Jayasri Dora, Head of the Department of Ophthalmology of VSS Medical College, Sambalpur. Dr. Hoimunti Chaudhuri is one of the pioneer ophthalmologist of Chaudhuri Eye Hospital in Silchar in South Assam. We are very happy to have got Dr. Hoimunti Chaudhuri here. Thank you very much, madam, for your kind participation in this meeting. Now I like to call upon Dr. Surendra Prasad Jakhanwala. Dr. Surendra Prasad Jakhanwala is the retired medical superintendent of Jamshedpur Eye Hospital, Jamshedpur, Jharkhand. He is being given Dr. Santosh Kumar Mahapatra Endowment Acoin Odisha State Chapter Oration 2022. We are very happy to have Dr. S.P. Jakhanwala, who is a pioneering ophthalmologist as well as the secretary of IMA of Jamshedpur and a renowned ophthalmologist of Jamshedpur. And we are very happy to have Dr. Jakhanwala here, Surendra Prasad Jakhanwala sir. Now we like to call upon Dr. Basant Bharma sir. Dr. Basant Bharma has come from Durg Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. He is being given Dr. Subol Kishore Kaur Endowment, Acoin Odisha State Chapter, Odisha 2022. Dr. Basant Bharma is the President-elect of Chhattisgarh State Ophthalmological Society, the renowned ophthalmologist, and we are very happy to have Dr. Basant Bharma here. भाई इधर से तोलो, इधर से करो, अच्छा करके उठेगा, लिखा देखा जाएगा, लिखा देखा. I like to call upon Professor Mrinal Kanti Ghosh. Professor Mrinal Kanti Ghosh, who is the professor and head of the Department of Ophthalmology, Jagannath Institute of Medical Science and Research, Bojboj, South 24 Parganas 24, West Bengal. He is being given Professor Bimal Kumar Tripathi Endowment, Acoin Odisha State Chapter, Odisha 202. We are very happy to honor Professor Mrinal Kanti Ghosh with another Professor of Ophthalmology, Professor Bimal Kumar Tripathi sir. Hey, Somen. Sarod Tripathi. No words are enough to congratulate and to pay our sincere regards to Dr. Sarod Chandra Das, the chairperson of Acoin Odisha State Chapter, as well as the person behind this great meet. So, on behalf of Team Acoin India, I would like to request Dr. Lakesh Madharia sir to give a memento to Dr. Sarod Chandra Das. Now I would like to request all of you to give a standing ovation to the master of this ceremony, and at the same time I would like to request Dr. Lakesh Madharia to give a memento. This memento is very small thing, nothing more. But your standing ovation, your live, very loud voice with hip hip hooray or wah wah to our young Saroj Tripathi will be ever enchanting to you. Hooray! Hip hip! Hip hip! With these few words, we are having the end of this felicitation ceremony. Now, the guest in chief will deliver his kind address, and then there will be vote of thanks, and we like to have a group photograph and national anthem. Then we will start the award auditions.
It's a privilege that we have with us the Honorable MLA of Kendrapada, Sri Jukta Sasibhushan Sirji. Sir, we are really grateful to you. Sir needs no introduction, but ex-Finance Minister of Odisha, ex-Excise Minister of Odisha, ex-Member of Parliament Rajya Sabha. Please give a big round of applause and welcome Honorable MLA Mr. Sasibhushan Behera sir. Sir, please.
Jai Baldev ji, I am first of all welcoming you all, the dignified personalities of the community and the society and the country as a whole. All the ophthalmologists, doctors come from all over the country to attend this Acoin Odisha state chapter. On behalf of people of the Kendrapada, the land of Tulsi Khetra, the land of Prabhu Baldevji, I once again welcoming you all in the dais and in the front chairs. It's a privilege for me to speak a few words of my own obligation. I am obliged to you all that you have chosen a place, Kendrapada, to organize your state chapter here. I am surprised. I saw many known faces here. When I am received here by Dr. Saroj Tripathi, the junior Tripathi, I must say, because it belongs to my present constituency and son of Dr. B.K. Tripathi. Both senior and junior, we are proud, both of them. And I have seen here your national chapter president, Mr. Lokesh Madhurya, then General Secretary and the State President, Mr. General Secretary Dr. Subudhi ji, then Dr. S. Das, and many others. I don't remember their names, but in front I am looking at a young, energetic, dynamic ophthalmologist, and is Mr. no other than Dr. Sabyasachi Patnaik. And I happens to his neighbor there in Cuttack. He is not my neighbor, because when I am Minister of Finance and in the Member of Parliament in Rajya Sabha and leader of the Biju Janata Dal, all the time I am staying there with my family in a rented house. So, we know each other. How dynamic and young person he is. And I think he has a lot of interest within him to tele-ophthalmic medicine practice, which has been started since long. Just 1 year. And I am proud to listen here that he has also started with his friend, a senior, I don't know, Mr. Subudhi, Dr. Subudhi. They started the Odisha chapter from Lord Jagannath's land of Lord Jagannath, that is Puri. And this fourth meeting is also happening here, the elder brother of Lord Jagannath, Baldevji. And I am surprised, not only surprised, I am congratulating you all. You have chosen a guest of honor. He is a dynamic officer of our state, and his first posting also here in this Kendrapada, Mr. Sanjeev Chada. I have a little discussion just before coming to this place to know what is happening, what is the matter with this Odisha chapter organization of ophthalmologists. And I am surprised and delighted to know that you are not only treating the very sensitive organ of the human being, that is eyes, but you are treating the psychology and mind of this human being. Because your concern generally is impression, doctors are after money, doctors are after urban practice, doctors are after private practices, but you all the doctors, you are treating a very sensitive organ of the human being, and you chosen the community awareness, community treating, and you are advocating for all those things, and you are practicing, and you are taking these challenges of practicing doctors. It's amazing. The doctors coming from all over the country, nearby states, they don't hesitate to move to a rural place. Generally, it's a practice, because I belong to Cuttack city and my native place is Jobra, nearby SCV Medical College, or like those places. But you didn't hesitate to come to this rural Kendrapada, all the way from the Bhubaneswar to more than 100 kilometers, 100 kilometers. So, I am once again congratulating you all for this strenuous effort and it's a very religious and pious mind to treat the patients of the rural area. And that you named it as a community treatment. So, this is the challenge of the country. We the people are always urban centric. And naturally the urban centric peoples are affluent. Most of the little bit 10-20% those are serving there in staying in the bastis and mahalas. Those are working for the rich people. Beyond that, the all peoples are financially sound, and the doctors' interest in having more money, earning more money, you like to stay there in urban areas. But you are something indifferent. And I am once again congratulating you, welcoming you from the place of this Tulsi Kshetra. Here, this is not only a rural place. This is calamity prone state, district, area. So, you are chosen this calamities prone area, and the poor people will be benefited from this organization, this Acoin Odisha state chapter. You made a very meaningful presence here, though it is not much known to the city people. Even if I just got an invitation, somebody of my advocate friend Sanjay Jana told me that you are to attend this program of medical societies. I wonder what to do. Why these medical society people are calling me? What is how I will share their views here? I am not technically know or somehow, but you are the human-centric mind. And my political career is also human-centric. And here, today it's a coincidence, and I am privileged to be here because today is our great hero, Prabhat Purusha Biju Patnaik, the former Chief Minister and Central Minister, and many other adjectives are with him. His day, this day he passed out. So we are in the morning, we organize a very mega blood donation camp that has been started by our Chief Minister, who has given focus on health care. And wonderful. Here he has started a BKSY, Biju Swastha Kalyan Yojana card, where the privilege for women is 10 lakh per year and free of treatment, and for men 5 lakhs. 96.5 family has been covered up with this BKSY card. And this is wonderful. They will get annual free treatment for these through this BKS card with all government hospitals and then 200 private hospitals. It's a wonder. I was a ex-finance minister, I can't think of how this has been planned. This all comes from mind that, like your things comes from you all doctors' mind, that will serve will work for the community people, those are staying, and 80% of our peoples are there, unreached people. Jyotiki treatment, where treatment is not reached. So, and we have only, Dr. Patnaik, now 3 hospitals are there for a long time, medical college and hospital, now it's more than 12. So, the country, we are example, our state is example working towards the healthcare, and it's very important, very relevant today. Your presence here in Kendrapada with a small town, fabricated, segregated from old Cuttack city. This is 26 years of this district, and I am fortunate to be here as the member of Legislative Assembly. So, to serve here, and I am also enjoying the pleasure to serve the neglected poor people staying in the very rural area, like, and this has encouraged my mind to work in the rural area. Today I saw and observed your spirit of serving the rural people with community practices, community challenges. This is my benefit. I am benefited from this dais, from this August gathering. Again, I show my thanks to you all, and I don't think that I have any. I should have been, had I been earlier associated with this conference, my services could have been little bit. We'll take your services. Okay, then I will be a happier person. I am again thanking Dr. Saroj and yourself and the senior Tripathi, junior Tripathi. Both belongs to my Ostapur GP, where he has started a very private ophthalmic treatment center. So everybody, I thank you everybody. Nice joining with you. Bande Utkal Janani. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your encouraging words. Yes, now the message to all the young generation ophthalmologists, PG students who all are sitting there. Gaon Chalo is the Nara of today. You have to give your service to the poor, needy people of the villages of different part of, give the vote of thanks.
Before Dr. Santosh Mahapatra will give vote of thanks, I have one appeal to Mr. Behera sir. We are really very much thankful for your extraordinary thoughtful talk, and being a part of Ostapur GP under Kendapada, will be very happy to include you in our team Acoin Odisha as one of the honorary member of Acoin. I am sure Professor Subudhi, our members chairing committee and others, to be unanimous with me to include Mr. Behera as our honorary member of Association of Community Ophthalmologists. Thank you very much, sir. As he was the past finance minister of Odisha, so he will be the person for resource mobilization for Drishti Ratha Yatra in Odisha. We like to have a wide Drishti Ratha Yatra in Odisha. In each and every district, we like to move around with our Drishti Rath, that is a tableau with our banners of, as well as we like to, yes, as well as we would also like to take our guest of honor as the honorary member of Acoin Odisha. So sir, with your kind help, we like to make a wide Drishti Ratha Yatra. You know, we cannot show you the video because of the paucity of time. In Uttar Pradesh, in the year 2019, we have travelled around 1,400 kilometers within 4 rounds, all the parts of Uttar Pradesh with our Drishti Ratha Yatra. So also in Odisha, we like to have you, sir, Mr. Behera sir, please be kind enough to be the captain of our Drishti Ratha Yatra in Puri. Professor Subuddhi will be in touch with you. So also Dr. Sabyasachi Patnaik, guest of honor sir, you please help us. Once again I recall to you, Acoin, Ek Paisa ka organization. So in this particular, we beg to each and everybody to donate generously so that this particular movement can be organized in each and every part. Last week on Sunday, particularly at this moment, I was in Valsad, in Surat district, about 90 kilometers from Surat in Gujarat. I was there with the third annual meeting of Acoin Gujarat State Chapter, and it was being held in conjunction with the centenary celebration of RNC Free Eye Hospital. There is a very old Free Eye Hospital, RNC Hospital, 100 years old, just like this Basanta Kumari, which has come up only for 20 years. It was 100 years old. You will be surprised to know that after the particular meeting, this RNC Free Eye Hospital, apart from organizing the meeting, they have donated 51,000 rupees to Acoin for this particular Drishti Ratha Yatra in Gujarat in coming days. So it was a great support to Acoin. In this particular way, we also like to have our guest in chief, Mr. Behra, and our guest of honor to support us in Drishti Ratha Yatra in Odisha. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind support. And I would now like to request Dr. Santosh Mahapatra, the Secretary of State Chapter, to give vote of thanks.
Thank you, Saman Dada. Good afternoon, everyone. Who knows? So when Saman Dada called me and told me that you have to organize the Odisha State Chapter meeting at a off-center city, that means not in Cuttack or Bhubaneswar, we are really worried where to do and whom to approach. So I tried to call 3-4 persons, but everyone is telling no, it is not possible in a very short period of notice. Then I asked Subuddhi sir what to do. He told, you ask Saroj. I asked Saroj, but he said, no, last time I had planned it, but it is very short time, so I cannot do it. So again we are worried. Then I asked Subuddhi sir to personally call him. Finally we were successful in persuading him and Tripathi sir to do it at Kendrapada, and you are seeing the results. So we are also very fortunate to have two most prominent people. One is one of the most popular leaders in the political arena, Mr. Shashi Bhushan Behra, MLA Kendrapada with us, and one of the most efficient administrator, Mr. Sanjeev Chadha, IFS with us. So we are going to take help from them in future for this community. Also, I'd like to thank all our guest speakers from throughout the India who has come long way to be with us. All electronic and print media who are parts of this program, without whom this message will not be propagated to the mass. So I'll thank one and all to be part of this great movement, and I'll seek permission of the chair to conclude the session of meeting here. Thank you so much.
Just before we end, I would like to felicitate two of the non-doctors who all have, both of them have helped us like anything to make this program a success. Vijay Kumar Janna sir, please come to the stage. And Mr. Dhirendra Kumar Das sir. Thank you all, and we'll end with National Anthem. So I request everybody to kindly stand up.
Before national anthem, one announcement. If you like to donate any money or cash in check, you can give it to Mr. Mrityunjoy, who is here in our Acoin information booth. He will be here up to 4 p.m. and you can give it to them for Acoin activities. Thank you very much. Now we are coming to the closure of the inaugural session, and after this inaugural session there will be oration, and at the same time I will request the postgraduates to put up your physical posters so that our judges can judge them after lunch. Thank you very much. So please join in national anthem.
जनगण मन
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष.
Thank you, sir. इनको तब करेंगे, इसके बाद करेंगे. Volunteers, please take off these chairs. Volunteer कौन है? Volunteers, all postgraduate, all volunteers. तुम्हें কেউ নেই, একটু নিচে নামে দেখছি দেখতে হবে না. এটা কি নিচে চেয়ারম্যান যায়? হ্যাঁ, চেয়ারম্যান ওইখানে বসবে. ধর একজন ধর. Professor Rajguru sir, Professor Prasanna Mohanty sir, please take the sofa senior and Dr. Sabyasachi Patnaik. ঠিক আছে আচ্ছা শুনুন তো না এই টিকা ফটো নিবে ফটো এই ফটো সোমেন Professor Himanshu Kumar Rajguru sir, please come over the dais. Professor Himanshu Kumar Rajguru was also the retired professor and head of the department of SCB Medical College, Kotak, as well as the chairman reception committee. We like
Professor in KIMS Bhubaneswar.
now he is the professor of Kalinga Institute of Medical Science, Bhubaneswar. He is being felicitated by another professor, HOD, Professor Bimalkant Tripathi sir. ফটো ভালো করে ছবি নিও ভাই আমার সাথে সিদ্ধার্থ স্মাইল সরিয়ালা থ্যাংক ইউ we like to call upon the first speaker, Dr. Mrinal Kanti Vishwas. Dr. Mrinal Kanti Ghosh. Dr. Mrinal Kanti Ghosh.
There is some Punarnava, Bringaraj, Haritaki, in these all things, Haridra means Holut. Ela, sweet, Mukta, all things have been tested to do some good to the ailing eyes. The other one is yoga and naturopathy. This yoga helps the body heal itself by force of nature. Therapies include acupuncture, physiotherapy, mat therapy, fasting therapy, hydrotherapy, etc. Regarding hydrotherapy, we all know the most common prescription and advice done to any doctor, allopath or homeopath, is plain water wash. Plain water wash is very effective for any eye disease, including the computer vision syndrome, eye pain, and other things. Yoga is an ancient technique that originated from the Indian, focusing on the person's physical, mental, and spiritual health. Now coming to Unani. This is another form of traditional medicine practiced during Mughal era, taught by Greek physicians Hippocrates and Galen. Concept is based on 4 elements which we all know: blood, yellow bile, black bile, etc. Another term is Siddha. It is prevalent in South India. believes in heal only the body but also mind and soul, derived from Tamil word Siddha, which means perfection. Practitioners of Siddha medicine firmly believe that the cure of any disease, the type of lifestyle a person lives, plays a major role. Siddha is a mineral treatment for psoriasis, vitiligo, leprosy, pemphigus, etc. Key differences between Ayurveda and Siddha is this: Ayurveda uses herbs and exercise to prevent illness, but Siddha uses methods of meditation, intense yogic practice, etc. Soga Riga, this is very important for us. See, centuries old traditional medical system that employs a complex approach to the diagnosis. See how it occurs. A volume. Just notice.
The National Research Institute for Soa Rigpa is gearing up for the next stage. With finances being taken care of by the center, the mood is quite upbeat. The traditional system of medicine is our heritage, and for this India is already fighting a battle against our neighbor in the UNESCO.
Soa Rigpa is Bodhi or Tibetan term. It means science of healing. Actually, it is Indian Buddhist tradition of medicine which is originated from Bhagwan Buddha in India, and it is the main traditional medical system of Himalayan regions of Ladakh, Laos, Spiti, then Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Kalimpong, Darjeeling, all this area. Now this system of medicine is popularly practiced all over India with the name of Tibetan medicine.
Tell us precisely how old is it, and we also have a fight going on with the neighbor in UNESCO.
Yes, certainly. This is one of the major kind of problem came from China again, because India has recently in 2018-19 we have filed for intangible cultural heritage for Soa Rigpa as an Indian cultural heritage, but China has given some kind of obstacles there.
Other methods also which we have to recognize.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Minal Ghosh. As this is oration, there will be no question answer. I would request each and every postgraduates, 20 I will count, to come forward. 20 postgraduates who have come for the poster presentation, please do come forward and take the seat. I like to count 20 heads. 20 heads, otherwise their posters will be disqualified. Please be kind. All the 20 postgraduates, please do come forward and take the posters, will be disqualified. Next, you always mind it, these guest speakers has come long way with beautiful deliberation. You must give proper, hey, you please come forward, you please come. No, during lunch hour, during lunch hour they will put. During lunch hour. So, I like to call upon Dr. Purendra Bhasin, Dr. Manoj Mathur is there to give the guest oration. Dr. Manoj Mathur from Hyderabad.
इधर रख दो. Yeah. So, good afternoon, delegates, and good afternoon to all the PGTs. I have made this presentation with special reference to the PGTs, like how to not miss glaucoma in your clinics. So this is absolutely basic presentation. I thought that in a forum like community ophthalmology, this is what is required. Why? I'll let you know. So I shall be speaking about how not to miss glaucoma in your OPD, and spotlight will be on pearls of disc evaluation. Slide movement. So, at the outset, my homage to Dr. Surendra Narayan Acharya ji. In his memory, I am giving this oration, and my profound regards to Professor Indranil Dev, who has sponsored this oration. So, thank you, madam, for inviting me, and Acoin for inviting me to deliver this oration. So, the definition of glaucoma, basically it is a family of ocular diseases characterized by progressive optic neuropathy and visual field loss. So what happens is there is a progressive retinal ganglion cell loss that leads to gradual optic disc cupping. And this structural defect is associated with visual field deficits, and elevated intraocular pressure is no longer included in the definition. So glaucoma is referred to as a sneak thief of sight, as it is often detected late due to lack of awareness. And glaucoma is one of the leading causes of irreversible blindness in the world. In India alone, about 11 million people have glaucoma as of now, and this is likely to rise to another 24 million are at risk of glaucoma. Approximately 90% of the patients with glaucoma in India remain undiagnosed, compared to about 50% in the developed world. This is what is important. Like in India, about 90% of the cases remain undiagnosed. That is the reason why we need to create awareness about glaucoma in the community. We observe World Glaucoma Week every year. This is to reduce the incidence of blindness, the incidence of glaucoma, which is compared to 50% in the developed world. Here in India, the undiagnosed burden is about 90%. And on the contrary, it is observed that about 50% of the patients who are under treatment of glaucoma are non-glaucomatous. So what does it mean? On one end of the spectrum, we are saying that 90% of the disease is undetected, and on the other end of the spectrum, we are saying that 50% of the patients who are on glaucoma medication are non-glaucomatous. This implies that we need to emphasize the issues of proper detection of glaucoma among the patients. So on one end we need to create awareness about the disease, on the other end we need to train the general ophthalmologists and the PGTs how to properly evaluate glaucoma and how not to miss glaucoma in their practice. If you see this curve, glaucoma is a multifactorial disease, as I have told you, and it cannot be diagnosed by a single test. There is a range of intraocular pressure between 12 and 22 which can be normal. A person with intraocular pressure 22 can be normal, whereas a patient with pressure about 14 to 16 can be abnormal. This can be a normal tension glaucoma. So it is just not one single criteria parameter through which you are supposed to diagnose. Is vital, and it is the gold standard for IOP measurement. But what is important, what is the spotlight on of this oration is documentation. Proper documentation of the optic disc is most important. See a disc, look out for these 7 parameters. It should come automatically to you. Number 1, what is the size of the disc? Size of the disc is most vital. Then comes the cup. Decades back, we learned that the bigger the cup, more likely to be glaucoma. The trend is reversed now. We have to see the cupping, amount of cupping in relation to the size of the disc, which for any vascular changes, any hemorrhage on the optic disc, nerve fiber layer defect, and last but not the least, look out for peripapillary and chorioretinal degeneration. So, if you see the 2 optic discs here, the figure on the left shows a small disc. The spot size of direct ophthalmoscope is there, that is 1.5 millimeter. The left of that you see a small disc, and compared to it on the right side you see a large disc. What we know is 1.2 million axons pass through the optic disc, that is through the neuroretinal rim, 1.2 million axons pass. The next is the optic disc cup. So cup, we all know, we have to look out for cup disc ratio. Vertical cup disc ratio is more important, and cup disc asymmetry needs to be looked at between the left eye and the right eye. What is important is the optic disc size and cup disc ratio, how these two correlate, why the size of the optic disc is more important. You have to make a forced decision as to what size of the optic disc you are looking at. Is it the small, is it medium or normal, or is it a large disc? You know, you are seeing one optic disc here, 1.2 million axons are passing through the optic disc. If you see this disc, the size of the disc is medium size, again you know that 1.2 million axons are passing. If you see this disc, this is a large disc and 1.2 million axons are passing through the disc. Now, all the three discs together, 3 decades back or 4 decades back, the figure on the right was glaucoma. Why there is overdiagnosis of glaucoma? The figure on the right, if you see, with a big cup, that was glaucoma. Whereas the figure, this is. So, the lesson that we learn out of seeing all these 3 discs are, cup disc ratio varies with the size of the disc, and cup disc ratio on its own is not significant. So, a large cup can be normal for a large disc, whereas a small cup can be abnormal for a small disc. So what stands out is the optic cup varies with the disc size and is a surrogate of neuroretinal rim. So it is not the size, though it is thus the cup, the size of the disc and the cup. What stands out between the two is what is the health of the neuroretinal rim that you are looking at. That is the precursor for your diagnosis of glaucoma. So if you see here the neuroretinal rim, whether it is pink, pale, or does it have a notch or a focal thinning. Neuroretinal rim, one thing important for all the PGTs and all the practitioners is to know is the isn't rule. The inferior neuroretinal rim should be thicker than the superior, which is thicker than the nasal, and the temporal is supposed to be the least of the thick rims. So, the vascular changes, whether there is any nerve fiber layer beneath the vessels, and the bionetting of the vessels, that is, the vessel is deeply kinking and dipping inside the cup. Optic disc hemorrhage, as George Jonas said, the hemorrhage won't look at you. You say there is no hemorrhage. You look out for a hemorrhage and rule out the hemorrhage rather than the hemorrhage staring at you. The nerve fiber layer defect, if you see, it starts as a dark wedge. So what I say always is, do a parikrama of the disc, around the disc. You see the glistening texture. Whenever you're looking at the disc, you go around the disc. If you see there is a loss of glistening texture, look out into the periphery and detect the nerve fiber layer defect. Nerve fiber, it is very difficult, near impossible to judge that the nerve fiber layer looks at you. You have to rule it out, just like you rule out hemorrhage. And the peripapillary, this may interfere with the sensitivity in your visual fields. So, peripapillary atrophy arising de novo, it can be congenital and seen in myopia, that may not be associated with glaucoma. A PPA arising de novo in subsequent follow-ups should give rise to suspicion of glaucoma. And the chorioretinal degeneration can reduce the sensitivity of the visual field. So this you need to, if there is a suspicion of glaucoma, when you look at the disc, the 7 things, size of the disc, cup of the disc, health of the neuroretinal rim, vascular changes, optic disc hemorrhage, nerve fiber layer defect, chorioretinal degeneration, and peripapillary atrophy. If you look out for these 7 aspects, it will give you a reasonable amount of suspicion as to whether you are looking at a disc suspect. The moment you diagnose it as a disc suspect, do a gonioscopy to see whether the angle is. Then you have to correlate that structural defect with a visual field, that is a functional thing. And if you are in a tertiary center, you can correlate any structural defect that you suspect on the optic disc by 90D evaluation with the OCT. And once you establish a structural defect, also it is important to do a central corneal thickness and come to a conclusion whether the IOP is correlating with the central corneal thickness, whether in relation to the central corneal thickness. This completes the glaucoma workup. At the end of the day, what boils down to in glaucoma is a structural and functional correlation in the diagnosis of glaucoma. If you see this disc here, there is an inferior rim is thinner than superior rim. There is a notch here that reflects into a nerve fiber layer defect here, and that reflects as a inferior temporal thinning in the OCT, that reflects as a thinning in the ganglion cell complex, and inferior temporal defect reflects as a focal defect in the superior nasal step. This is what is required in the diagnosis of glaucoma. Even sitting in your peripheral chambers, how not to miss glaucoma? You need to establish a structural and functional correlation. If you don't have access to visual fields, the moment you suspect an optic disc, the moment you recognize a higher intraocular pressure with a low CCT, so anything the suspicion, please refer such cases to the higher centers, and their proper diagnosis and management of glaucoma can be done. So thank you all for your patient hearing. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj Mathur, for your brilliant deliberation and to give some outline. I am sure the postgraduates have collected at least one line from him, take away message about the very early detection of glaucoma or glaucoma suspect. Now, I like to present before you the person behind the Ocular Trauma Society of India. You know, all over India there are 3 or 4 persons right now, Dr. Purendra Bhasin, Dr. Mehul Shah, Dr. Shreya Shah and others, who are working for Ocular Trauma Society, a nationwide movement. So here is Dr. Purendra Bhasin from Ratandip Eye Hospital, Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, who will talk before you something about ocular trauma and others, and at the same time who like to be associated with Ocular Trauma Society of India can also contact with Dr. Purendra Bhasin. One more information for you, especially for the postgraduates. If you like to be the member of Association of Community Ophthalmologists of India, you can contact at our center, our information booth right at this gate, and you can enroll you as a member of Association of Community Ophthalmologists of India. And for poster presentation, after lunch it will be held and we will announce the name of the judges. Dr. Purendra Bhasin, please do come.
I am Dr. Purendra Bhasin from Gwalior, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on strategy planning in ocular traumatology. Trauma is a very interesting aspect of our practice, and we see we have to see patients who develop trauma, how to manage them, how to see them, how to proceed with it. So we have to develop a strategy which is individualized and which has to be developed for each and every patient, and how we do, that's what is in my talk. Strategy planning in ocular traumatology. I have no financial interest. Now coming to what is strategy. Strategy, a dictionary meaning, is a plan of action designed to achieve long-term or overall aim for the final outcomes, and it includes medical management as well as surgical planning, its detailing and execution in detail, and we should do everything to pen it down and to inform your team before taking the patient in the OR. And before taking the patient for surgery, you have to manage the patient pre-operatively by the help of topical systemic medicines and maybe patching. So surgical planning is a staged, whether we have to go in a staged way or in a single way, in a single sitting. It's a comprehensive surgery. We should discuss with ourselves and with our team, and how urgent is the initial surgery, optimal timing of each surgery. We have to discuss and inform the patients and the attendants, and what type of intervention, how we are going to do, share the plan with the team and make a backup plan as well. So this is a case which I would like to show here. It's a case of corneal tear, glaucoma, aniridia and cataract combined. So this 26-year-old boy met with a road traffic accident on 31st of December, that is end of the year, and everybody is in a hurry to go and meet the family and friends. So this is the case where there was a tri-radiate tear, as you can see here, and there was a open glove injury. PR was accurate, there was no reverse RAPD, and B scan was normal. So we took the patient for the primary corneal tear repair, and we did it in this way. Over the course of 10 months, the patient's cornea and retinal status was stable, but he developed glaucoma, and that was an intractable glaucoma. So after 10 months of the primary corneal tear repair, we took the patient for Ahmed glaucoma valve, which we are doing here, and this is being done by my glaucoma colleague Dr. Manish Pandey, and we are checking the valve 9 or 9.5 millimeter away from the limbus. We have made a pre-placed suture. The valve is being fixed to the sclera. Tube length is checked and trimmed. This is an iridial lens, which is a large lens of 9.5 millimeter overall diameter opening. This is going to reduce the glare and halos, and we have to fix, because there was no posterior capsule support, so we have to fix it to the sclera, and by the railroad technique we are passing the proline suture, 9-0 nylon proline suture. Anterior vitrectomy is done, and the tag of iris is being removed. The two cut ends of the which we have passed before are tied to the haptics in the eyelets of the sclera on either side, and it is pushed inside behind the iris in the ciliary sulcus region. The main wound is sutured. Chamber is formed with BSS or air as per your choice, and proline suture is tied to the sclera and the knots are embedded inside. Then the Ahmed glaucoma valve tube is pushed in the anterior chamber, and the tube then is covered by you can use a scleral trim, thinned out sclera, or you can use a old cornea which is not being used for the keratoplasty. Post-operative help of iris spatula and Shinsky hook, all three, because our capsular axis was intact, so enough amount of fibrosed capsular rim is there, and a 3-piece single multi-foldable lens is then placed over the sulcus, in the sulcus over the capsular remnant. After 7 months of the primary surgery in the right eye, we rehabilitated this patient with secondary PCIOL by modified Yamanes technique, as you can see here. This is a 3-piece foldable IOL. We are passing the haptic in the 27 gauge needle, and it is pulled out 2 millimeter from limbus at the sclera, 180 degree apart, and the flange is created over the haptic by the special cautery, heat cautery. You can use our old ball cautery also, and this is pulled out. The trailing haptic is pulled out. It's a very simple technique, less time consuming, and the only thing is that we have to follow the principle and guidelines to rehabilitate the patient with this. Post-operatively, both the eyes, there were corneal scars with stable IOL and retina. In left eye, cornea was clear and stable IOL. Best corrected visual acuity in right eye was 612 and in the left eye 6.9, and after almost 9 months, patient eye is stable. Last case, and this you can see the repair of the limbal tear, large limbus tear was done, and after 1 month there was a vitreous hemorrhage also. Heme was present in the vitreous, so we did and the lens was swollen. So with the help of microforceps we are completing our capsular axis, It was challenging because anterior chamber was very shallow and intraocular lenticular pressure was more. Phacoemulsification is done because after successful capsular access, which was the only challenging step I feel in this particular case. And to reduce the glare, because in this region we don't have the presence of iris, so to reduce, and this is the temporal region, to reduce the glare we are using aniridia ring segments in this particular case, and 2 aniridia ring segments will be used. Then foldable IOL is implanted in the bag. This aniridia ring segment will stabilize the zonules which were lacking in this particular region because of the trauma. Another aniridia ring segment is placed, and this will cover the remaining part of the previous ring. So we will have a circle of aniridia ring present, which is going to decrease the amount of glare and amount of light which is going to go inside. So patient had good vision and stable IOL. To conclude, the take-home message is always have a plan before treating a patient with complex injuries. Any intervention should be dictated by what is best for the eye, not by what is possible by us, by the attending ophthalmologist. One should be ready for intraoperative surprises and anticipate problems that may occur with us during the procedure, and we should always have a plan B ready to execute whenever necessary. Because we know our ultimate goal is, after all, not a good death, but a good life to the very end. This has been spoken by Dr. Atul Gawande. I thank you all for the patient hearing and would like to invite you for the 14th annual conference of Ocular Trauma Society of India which is going to happen in Gwalior in the coming month on 14th and 15th of May 2022. Online registration can be done, and if you want, I have the hard copy. You can fill it and give it to me, and you can register it. You can send a abstract and anything you can do for the video, for the free paper, or for the poster on ocular trauma. Thank you all. Thank you for the patient hearing. Thank you. Thank you.